You're listening to Manx Radio, and I'm Judith Lay, welcoming you to the podcast of Today at the Guild, results and winning performances from the 2022 Manx Music, Speech and Dance Festival.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Faster Mind, a very good evening to you. This is Judith Lay giving you the warmest possible welcome to Today at the Guild. For the next hour, I'm going to bring you as many results and winning performances as I can from the Manx Music Festival in its 130th year, back in its familiar home, occupying every corner of the Villa Marina. And we have been full of spoken word, music, drama, all kinds of things. It's a great, great entertainment in a great atmosphere. And I want to try and bring all of that to you in the next hour. Let's start off with young people playing for us now, taking a very modern outlook on life. This is Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band with very special arrangements by a very talented musician, somebody who featured himself in the Guild many years ago, and now he's inspiring other young people. John Wood's arrangements. I'm sure you will recognise this tune, especially if you're following modern music here on Manx Radio. This is Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band. And that was just part of a winning performance there from, you can tell how popular that was. There was just part of a winning performance there from Ramsey Grammar School Pep Band. And they were winners of the brass ensemble class. And John Wood, who works with them, he'd taken 3 modern songs and arranged them specially for the ensemble. And you probably recognise that as Ellie King's X's and O's. And it was followed by Break My Heart, that was from Dua Lipa's fame. And then Runaway Baby, made famous by Bruno Mars. Now, we've divided those up into the 3 separate songs, and so during the course of maybe tonight if there's time, but certainly through the rest of our coverage, I'll play the rest of those for you, because it was a fine performance and took first place in the brass ensemble class with 89 marks. Close behind, Manx Concert Brass took a second place there with 88 marks. And now for something completely different, because what we try to do on this coverage is to bring you all the diversity, all the mix of disciplines that make up the music festival. And two very talented young ladies took part in the duet class. Now this is for ages 8 to 11. So we've got young voices here. Their accompanist Judith Christian, and this is a class-winning performance from Cristl, Stitt and Lowenna Joughin. And they chose Love is an Open Door, and this is from the very popular musical Frozen. Cristl, Stitt and Lowenna Joughin. Wasn't that lovely? Such expression, such skill for such young performers there, because that was a very low age range duet class there. That was 8 to 11-year-olds. And their accompanist, as I said, Judith Christian, one of our wonderful accompanists. We're so lucky with the group of accompanists that we have year on year on year from the Guild. They just are great, so versatile, so supportive, and always, no matter how busy they are, always so cheerful. So thank you all. But I saw Cristl after that class was finished, and she was just thrilled. And she said, and we got a distinction, which indeed they did, with 87 marks. So well done, Cristl, Stitt and Lowenna Joughin. Now, the big feature of the classes last night, big feature and a very, very popular one, is the duet classes. Now, of course, these are our qualifying classes, as you might say, because the winners of each of the classes competes then for the Billown Rose Bowl. But that's something to talk about further down the line. But what I want to do tonight is to let you hear some of those winning performances. And they were very skilled. And one of them in particular was very, very entertaining, an extra level of entertainment to it. I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. So we're going to listen, first of all, to the winners of class, of one of the ladies' voice duet class. That's what we're going to listen to first. And this fine singers involved in this, names that you will know very well from choir work, from guild work. Lots of fine singing here in the ladies' voice duet class. The official accompanist is Wendy McDowell and the adjudicator Benjamin Costello. Now, I was having a little chat with Ben Costello just yesterday, and the adjudicators have such interesting stories to tell about their own experience, and you can well see why they are well able to adjudicate so many different disciplines, because they are often instrumentalists, singers, choir directors, all in the one person. So they've got lots of skill that they bring to their adjudication. And a lot of real desire to support and uplift, not to criticise, but to build up. And that, again, contributes to a great atmosphere. So, music. Now, this is what we want. And the class was Ladies' Voice Duet was won by Jane Corkill and Nici Fletcher-Causer. And the piece is called, quite simply, Sleep. Listen now to Jane and Nici. Winners of the Ladies' Voice Duet class. Beautiful singing there, I'm sure you would agree, from Jane Corkill and Nici Fletcher-Causer. And the official accompanist for that class is Wendy McDowell. And they were winners with 88 marks. Helen Ferner and Lauren Newson were in second place. And again, all the pairs singing in that duet class, all high marks, beautiful music from all of them. Now, I should perhaps mention the rules for this because it's quite relevant to what I'm going to play for you next. In each of the duet classes, there's a mixed voice duet, ladies' voice, male voice duet. And the rules are quite simply, it's an own choice, but you can't choose anything operatic. So it's literally as wide as that. Own choice, not operatic. Now, the winners of each class, the mixed voice, male voice and ladies' voice duet, will each compete then for the Billown Rose Bowl, and that competition generally forms a part of our finals night, when the Cleveland medal is decided and all of that. So each of the winners will go and they'll sing against each other, and the Billown Rose Bowl will be awarded. Now, bearing in mind it's an own choice, bearing in mind what you've listened to from the ladies, listen now to the winners of the male voice duet. And I would like you to listen now to Simon Fletcher and Richard Solomon.
In Virginia stands a lonesome pine. Just below is the cabin home of a little girl of mine. Her name is June, and very, very soon she'll belong to me. For I know she's waiting there for me 'neath that lone pine tree. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine, in the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine, where she carved a name and I carved mine. Oh, June, like the mountains are blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine.
Well, Ollie, how do you think it's going?
It's another fine mess you've got me into, Stanley. I can hear the tinkling water among the hills.
So far among the hills.
Birds singing each so merrily to his mate in rapture trills. They seem to say your June is lonesome too, longing fills her eyes. She is waiting for you where the pine tree sighs. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine, in the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine, where she carved a name and I carved mine. Oh, June, like the mountains I'm blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine. It's the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine. In the pale moonshine, our hearts entwine, when she carved her name and I carved mine.
Oh, June, like the mountains I'm blue, like the pine, I am lonesome for you. In the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine.
Oh my goodness, I wish I could have shown you somehow how like Laurel and Hardy did Simon Fletcher and Richard Solomon look. There they were on the trail of the Lonesome Pine. Simon and Richard were accompanied there by Marilyn Cannell. And there they were, winning the class with 88 marks on the trail of the Lonesome Pine, looking exactly like Laurel and Hardy. Now, there's a very strong link between that and the next piece of music that I'm going to play for you. Winner of a different class, but a very, very strong link.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Now, we'll be going back to the duet classes in just a moment, but just to make a link with that particular piece that you've listened to, the winner of another, well, not the winner of another class, but second placed in another class, a very special song that I would like you to hear. Now, this afternoon in the Royal Hall, it was the composers class, and this is the class that really is seeking out those amongst us in our music world who have a real gift for composition. And I am thrilled to bits to say that the winner of the class with 90 marks was Tim Price, who does a wonderful job looking after all the engineering of the Guild every year. I absolutely could not manage without him. He works so very hard, so quietly. He just gets about his... He's just terrific in every way. But doing the engineering for the Guild is a tiny part of Tim's skills. He is a very gifted composer. He loves composition and has been entering the composition class since it first appeared in the Guild syllabus. He was the class winner with 90 marks. But close behind him is the lady who's just been playing the piano for Simon and Richard, and it's Marilyn Cannell. Marilyn, who you will know, she's given so much to music in general on the island, and for, I think something like 25 years was an official accompanist for the Guild. Now that she's not an official accompanist, she can do other things that she's very good at. And she too supports the composition class, and this was her offering a song that she wrote specially for Graham Crowe, because the song is performed, or the piece is performed. And so Marilyn wrote this particularly for Graham Crowe. So listen now as Marilyn Cannell plays her own composition, and it's sung for us by Graham Crowe.
The countryside fills with the song of the hills as it soars o'er the winds and the weather. The cry of the curlew, the whisper and whine of the breeze through the crunch of the heather. The hills have a song, the hills have a song, and it's where I belong. Each cronk and each slough holds a legend or two, be it mystery, monster, or spell. Each tumble and twist, every twirl of the mist, cloaks Manannan who guards us so well. The hills have a song, the hills have a song, and it's where I belong. The clack on the track, the curve to the crest, till we stand on the highest most ground. Kingdoms above, kingdoms below, the kingdom of man all around. In the hills you will find hidden pathways and valleys and streamlets that always surprise. Their lullaby still seems to drift through my dreams, and it greets me each day as I rise. The hills have a song, hills have a song, and it's where I belong. There's a song of the hills in my heart.
Wasn't that lovely? That was The Song of the Hills. It was composed by Marilyn Cannell, and she also played piano, and sung by Graham Crowe, for whom Marilyn wrote that song especially. And how very appropriate for a countryman, The Song of the Hills. Will I be playing Tim Price's winning entry into the composition class? I certainly will. Tim's was an orchestral piece, Breath of Fresh Air, of course, inspired by our island, and I will be playing that for you just in a little while. But we're going to go back to our duet class, and before we play the music, a little bit of latest news. The Cleveland Medal Test, the award for the best adult voice in the festival. And we now know 3 of the people who will be competing for that. There's a different way of working out who are going to be the Cleveland finalists this year, and it's produced a very interesting result. Instead of it being the winner of each voice class, mezzo, soprano, contralto, soprano, all of those, instead of being that, it's taken the special classes, and the places will be awarded to the highest marks from the female voices and the highest marks from the male voices. So that means that we know when the 3 female voice classes are competed for, as they were this afternoon, then the highest marks, irrespective of which class they come from, they could all be from the same voice type, they could all be from one voice class, but it's simply the highest marks in the combination of classes. So I can tell you that the 3 ladies who will be singing, competing for the Cleveland Medal, will be Karen Elliott, Debbie Gooding and Morag Withy, and they are all in fine voice, and it was a lovely competition this afternoon, fine singing from all, very, very entertaining afternoon. But congratulations to Karen, to Debbie and to Morag, who will be singing again for the Cleveland Medal on Friday night. The 3 men, well, we have to find out. They haven't sung yet, but that will be a bit more news to bring to you on Today at the Guild. Now, Debbie is in fine voice, and just to prove how fine a voice, she had a win in the mixed voice duet class, and that's what we're going to listen to now. Debbie is singing with Neil Taverner, and their choice is Prayer by Morton Lauriston, and we're going to listen to that winning performance now. Again, the official accompanist for this class is Wendy McDowell. This is Neil and Debbie.
Footsteps in the alleyway, sweep of the wind sifting the leaves.
Jeweler of the spider's web, connoisseur of autumn's opulence, blades of lightning harvesting the sky.
Keeper of the small gate, choreographer of entrances and exits, midnight whisper traveling the wires.
Seducer, healer, deity or thief,
I will see you soon enough. Soon enough. its covert o'er, and the hush falcon its flightless young.
Class-winning performance there from Neil Taverner and Debbie Gooding. They won the class for mixed voice duet with 89 marks. Let's move on and have a little bit of spoken word, because that was what was happening in the cinema whilst there was wonderful singing going on in the Royal Hall. This is where the wonderful thing, you can just go from hall to hall and get different disciplines. So we had the Promenade Suite, we had the Royal Hall and the cinema all in use last night. And it was spoken word that we started the evening in the cinema last night. And for this particular class, which was for ages 16 to 18, simply any poem by any poet. And the winner of the class with 89 marks is Abigail Harrison, and her choice was Jamjar by Carol Ann Duffy. This is Abigail Harrison.
Jamjar by Carol Ann Duffy. A girl in her garden peeped into a jam jar and fell inside. She passed a wasp as she fell. It was licking a smear of strawberry jam from the rim of the jar. "How far is the bottom?" she cried as she fell. "Far, very far," drawled the wasp. "Terribly far." Down she fell. The jar was a bell, and her scream was its tinkly, echoing ring. A green caterpillar crawled up the outside glass of the jar, blinked with its bulging alien eyes. "Help!" screeched the girl. "Help!" "Alas," it lisped, "there's no help in the whole wide world." On she hurled into the well of the jar, till the opening was a tiny star, and dandelion clocks were silver planets spinning in space. A spider hung from a thread and peered at her face. "Oh, throw me a rope," she begged. "Not here, not now," it sneered, "nor in any time or place." Bump! The jam jar's floor was snow and ice, stretching for freezing miles. The girl skated away, all alone, calling for home. White wolves ran in her tracks under the hard stars. "Oh, show me the way," she sobbed. "No way to show," they howled, "and no way back." Then a hand picked up the jar. A mean squint eye swam like a needlefish to the glass. Poisonous breath clouded it over. "This will do for a vase," said a spiteful voice, as a witch filled up the jam jar with water. Then stared in, amazed, glee in her eyes, at her swimming and brand new creature.
That was excellent work, wasn't it? And that was Abigail Harrison, class winner in the spoken word for the age range 16 to 18. Jamjar was her choice by Carol Ann Duffy. The next class was a spoken word for adults, exactly the same rules, any poem by any poet. And the class winner there was somebody who has a real grasp of spoken word, all types of spoken word, and that is Mr. John Cashin. And John won the class with 89 marks, and his choice was a poem by Joan Wallace. This is John Cashin and Fallen Blossoms.
Fallen Blossoms by Joan Wallace. Young Edward sighed, surveyed the field of poppies huddled close. They made a sheet of red. His father waved and guided cows for milking. Edward left the field and walked ahead. Supper, round the table in the kitchen, younger brothers laughing, having fun. Mother slicing bread straight from the oven. True farmer's wife, whose work was never done. Edward longed for travel and excitement. The farmer's life was dull, each day the same. At 17, a lad must do some living, go out and make a fortune, seek some fame. Kitchener was pointing from the poster. Your country needs you. Come and have some fun. Edward left behind a weeping mother and father, proud to have a soldier son. Never before had Edward left his village. Soon Strelly Hall and church looked just like toys. Train sped by the farms and waving cornfields, train filled with men who could never again be boys. In Ypres, a French girl said she'd be his sweetheart. They lay beneath the stars, made first-time love. Intoxicated by the thrill of romance, they lay entwined, kissed gently like two doves. The front line used up more brave men like Edward, young men who'd volunteered to end the war. They ran towards the Germans, bayonets gleaming, not questioning the reasons or what for. On they stumbled through the mud and fire, exploding shells and noise to wake the dead, screams and cries from both sides of the wire, from men and horses in those fields of red. The village clock at Strelly struck 11. In France, the girl placed baby at her breast. French poppies, now blood red, now deep red with blood of heroes. And Edward gave his life with all the rest.
My goodness, what a moving poem. Beautifully delivered there by John Cashin, class winner there. And it has to be said, of course, in the poetry classes, it's all from memory. War poetry is so moving, isn't it? Especially when it's moving just when you read it, but to hear it recited with such feeling, it gives it a great poignancy, doesn't it? Let's listen next to Tim Price's winning piece of music from the composition class. He had 90 marks for this. That's what we're going to listen to next.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Tim enjoys orchestral composition, and so that was what he chose for A Breath of Fresh Air. This is Tim Price's winning offering in the composition class. Tim Price's composition for harp and clarinet. That was Breath of Fresh Air. Let's listen to a young voice now. And again, this is a class from this morning, this time the Promenade Suite. And we started the day with the girls' solo for ages 10 and 11. This is a set song, and the choice this year is The Jaguar by Peter Rose. And the official accompanist is Marilyn Cannell. And this is the winning performance, and it came from Penny Lavery. Sadly, that's very true. Nobody loves a jaguar. And that's fine singing there from Penny Lavery. And Penny was the winner of the girls' solo class for ages 10 and 11. Now, there are a selection of solo voice classes, 8 of them, and the winner of each goes forward to compete for the Sheffield Plate, the highest award that the Guild offers to young voices. And we know now that 3 people will be competing. One of them is Penny Lavery, who you just heard. The others are Lila King and Theo Hills, and they won their classes yesterday. And so we've now got 3 young people who will be competing for the Sheffield Plate. You know I love everything about the Guild, but I do have to confess that I absolutely love the Sheffield Plate. And it's interesting how many of, if you look back through all the records, how many of the winners of the Sheffield Plate have gone on to do great things. Maybe not all associated with the Guild. Maybe they've gone on to do really well in musical theatre here on the stage at the Gaiety and all of that. But it is lovely just to see how these young singers progress. So Lila, Theo and Penny will be competing for the Sheffield Plate. I'll tell you who else as the various solo voice classes take place, because they're spread out over several days. Right, let's go back now to the duet classes, because I've got something very special for you here. What I love is when people take the rules of the Guild and play absolutely by the rules, but give them just a little bit of a special flavour. And that's what the Shimmers did. Now, this is a class for quartets of soprano, alto, tenor and bass. The test piece is completely their own choice. And the Shimmers decided that they would choose an English madrigal.
So tell me what you want, what I really, 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 really want, what I really, 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 really want to sing. If you want my future, forget my past. If you want to get with me, better make it fast.
Now don't go away, you're wasting my time.
My precious time.
Get your act together.
We could be just
fine.
fine.
I'll tell you what I want. I'll tell you what I want.
So tell me what you want, what you really, 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 really want, what I really, 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 really want to sing.
If you wanna be my lover,
If you want to be my
gotta get with my friend.
gotta get with making life forever. Friendship never ends. If you want to be my lover, you've got to give. Take it too easy. That's the way it is. Oh, what you think about that?
Now you know how I feel. Say you can handle my love.
Are you for real?
I won't be hasty giving you a try. If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye. I'll tell you what I want.
So tell me what you want, what I really, 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 really want, what I really, 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 really want to sing.
If you wanna be my lover,
you gotta get with my friends, gotta get with
making love forever.
friendship never ends.
If you wanna be my lover,
you've got to give.
I've got to give,
Taking
take
is
it
too easy.
and
That's the way it is.
dancing all around and winding up and down.
Dancing all around and winding all around.
Dancing up and down,
Up and down.
all around, up and down.
Dancing up and down and winding all around.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
So tell me what you want, what I really, 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 really want, what I really, 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 really want to sing. If you want to be my lover.
And I bet you never thought you'd hear that song sung in the style of an English madrigal. And you've got to be very, very skilled singers to be able to do that. And I wonder if you recognised any voices there. Well, certainly Paul Costain was amongst them. But if you do anything on Facebook, I beg you to go and search for Manx Music Festival and scroll through the wonderful pictures that Zoe Cannell is putting up there all the time. Scroll through and find the picture, because they were all dressed up in very appropriate costumes and they look fabulous. Have a look for the picture. If you go on Facebook, have a look for it. The Shimmers, they justifiably got 90 marks for that performance. Well deserved. We're going to finish now with a celebration of somebody that we're just thrilled to see back at the Guild. It's no secret that Terry Qualtrough has been very ill. And to see him back, not just back and singing, but back and singing brilliantly and winning classes and coming second in classes and doing really, really well. Let's listen to him now. His oratorio solo. We played the winning performance from Matthew Quinn. Terence came into second place, just 2 marks behind Matthew with 88 marks, and I Feel the Deity Within with his choice. Frank Woolley is his accompanist, and that is our final offering for today at the Guild tonight, celebrating Terry Qualtrough still able to evidently enjoy his music.
I feel the deity within. Oh, the bright cherubim between, his radiant glory as displayed. To Israel's distressful prayer, he hath vouchsafed a gracious ear, and points out Maccabeus to their aid. Judas shall set the captive free, and lead us on to victory. Army brave, army brave, a noble cause, a noble cause. The cause of him your zeal demands, a noble cause. The cause of him your zeal demands, a noble cause. The cause of him your zeal demands. Army brave, army brave, a noble cause. Army brave, army brave, a noble cause. The cause of him your zeal demands, a noble cause. Army brave, a noble cause. The cause of him your zeal demands. Your zeal, the cause of him your zeal demands. In defense of your nation, religion and laws, the Almighty Jehovah shall strengthen your hands. In defense of your nation, religion and laws, the Almighty Jehovah.
Fine singing there from Terence Qualtrough. Thank you for your company on Today at the Guild. I'll be back 9 o'clock tomorrow night with another hour of results and winning performances from this year's Manx Music Festival. Fastamai.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.